Have you ever had that feeling? The one where you're chosen, but you're never chosen first. We're going to dive into something that so many people feel, but almost nobody talks about, what it actually does to you psychologically when you're consistently the second choice. This isn't about being rejected. It's about the weird, complicated space of always being the backup plan.
And this quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? See, when you're rejected outright, it hurts, but at least it's clean. You know where you stand. But being the backup option, the person they call after the first person says no, that's a whole different kind of pain. It's a quiet sting that really shapes how you see everything. So, what does your brain do when this happens over and over again? Well, it gets smart. It adapts. And here's the thing you've got to remember. These adaptations aren't flaws in your character, not at all. They're actually incredibly sophisticated survival tools that your mind builds to handle this very specific emotional history.
I mean, think about it. If you've been the second choice, you often become an expert at reading the room. You can feel the slightest shift in someone's voice. You notice a pause that's just half a second too long. And why? Because your brain learned a really tough lesson. Being pushed to the side doesn't usually come with a big announcement. It happens in the silence. And this right here is such a critical point. Someone on the outside might just look at that hyper-awareness and call it insecurity. But that's not what's really going on. Psychology has a much better term for it: rejection sensitivity. This isn't just being nervous. This is a brain that's been trained, like a muscle, to sense emotional distance before anyone even says a word. It's a predictive skill, and you learned it to protect yourself. So what else happens? Well, when you can't really count on being someone's first call for help or their first choice to celebrate with, your brain finds another way. It builds up this incredible self-reliance. You just learn to handle things on your own. You learn to celebrate your wins by yourself, and you learn how to pat yourself up when you're hurt. It's not that you don't want support. It's that you've learned it's not always safe to expect it to stick around. Okay, so we've got this hyper-awareness and this fierce independence. But where does all that lead when it comes to our adult relationships? Well, it often evolves into a full-blown strategy. A strategy designed to make sure history never, ever repeats itself. And that strategy is the powerful and often exhausting pattern of overgiving. Attachment psychology explains this so well. Look, if you've spent your life feeling like you could be easily swapped out, a subconscious mission starts to form, becomes so useful, so helpful, so absolutely essential that no one could ever imagine letting you go. This isn't just about being a generous person. It's a deeply ingrained strategy for emotional survival. And when you break it down like this, the subconscious logic is just crystal clear, isn't it? It all starts with that core feeling: I'm replaceable. That creates this urgent, almost primal need to prove your worth. And what's the solution your brain comes up with? I will become completely indispensable. The game plan: to give more, care more, and do more than anyone else possibly could. But here's the catch. This whole strategy of overgiving, it comes with a really heavy hidden price tag. It runs on a fuel of constant, low-grade anxiety, this deep, nagging fear that any connection you have is fragile and could disappear at any moment. And let's be super clear about what this fear really is. It isn't just a fear of being alone. No, it's way more specific and way more painful. It's the fear of being quietly swapped out. It's this belief that no matter how much you give or how perfect you try to be, your spot in someone's life is never really truly yours. And you can see exactly how this plays out in real life. That internal belief, I can be replaced, makes you avoid conflict like the plague because you just want to stay in the group. That feeling that my needs are a burden, well, that causes you to constantly push down what you actually want. And the deep down belief that love is conditional, that can lead you to accept so much less than you deserve because you think any connection is better than the risk of having none at all. Okay, but this isn't all doom and gloom. It's so important that we don't just stop at the wounds. We have to reframe this because these psychological workarounds, they don't just create pain. They are the very things that forge a unique, quiet, and honestly, a really profound kind of strength. Think about the incredible emotional endurance people develop from this. They can take a hit of disappointment and not completely fall apart. When plans go sideways or people walk out, there's a certain calm. There's no panic. Why? Because on some level, they've been here before. This isn't a loud, flashy kind of strength. It's a silent, unbreakable core. And this experience leads to maybe the most powerful shift of all,
After you've dealt with the whiplash of affection that's there one day and gone the next, your brain starts to value something much, much more than big grand gestures. It starts to value consistency. So you see this huge pivot in what a person looks for in relationships. They stop chasing intensity, that roller coaster of exciting but unstable affection, and instead, they start chasing consistency. Things like safety, honesty, and just simple, reliable effort become the most attractive qualities in the world. Because when you have this history, being chosen in some big, dramatic way means nothing compared to being chosen quietly every single day.
And really, that's what this all comes down to, isn't it? Understanding this whole pattern, seeing the adaptations, the overgiving strategy, the silent strengths you've built, that's not the end of the journey. It's the starting line. It gives you the incredible power of awareness. And with that awareness, you get a choice. So the real question is, now that you see it, what are you going to do with it?